Maayong hapon, mga pinalangga na kong Sugboanon. Aniya kita aron sa pagbalita kaninyo o pipila ka mahinungdanon kaayo nga mga butang nga sayod ako, daghan kaayo ang naghulat o daghan kaayo usab ang kung ato na ning mahimo mapaarang-arang na pugbalik in town ang inyong mga kinabuhi nga karon matawag tang naglisod gyud tungod sa atong giagian nga pandemya ug ang atong giagian karon nga mga restrictions. So, unahon nako pag-take up ang ato gayud makuti ug hinay-hinay sa pagpanday nga mga guidelines, protocols, standards kabahin sa pagbukas ug pipila ka tourism activities dinhi sa probinsya sa Sugbo. Aduna kitay gi-identify nga specific tourism activities nga anaa sa atong mga kalungsuran. Matag activity adunay gibutang gayud specific protocols or specific guidelines. Aron walay confusion. Sa tinuod do natay general guidelines nga mo apply sa tanan apan samtang moadto na ta sa matag tourism nga kalihukan duna na usab kitay gipuno nga mga specific measures or protocols. I am about to sign Executive Order number 20-A. Kining Executive Order 20-A series of 2020 adopts protocols and guidelines to govern tourism-related activities that promote the health and wellness of an individual, accommodation establishments, and the dine-in of persons in restaurants. Tingali, kamo nga nagsunod gayud sa atong Sugbo News, inyong nakita nga sa milabay nga simana nagtuyok ta. Dito ta sa mga lungsod sa Oslob, Moalboal, Badyan, ug Alegria. Ug unya ni adto ta sa norte, kutob sa Daan Bantayan. Kay kini ang pipila ka mga lungsod kung diin turismo gayud ang nahimo nga key economic driver sa ilang tagsa-tagsa ka mga lungsod. Ug daghan gyud kaayo nga mga Sugboanon nagdepende sa turismo alang sa ilang panginabuhi. Ato kining gipresentar sa mga stakeholders sa maong mga lungsod aron makapaminaw sad ta sa ilang reaksyon ug kung doon naman sila'y mga masugyot usab ato kining gitimbang-timbang aron gayud nga ang mugawas nato nga mga protocols, mugawas nato nga mga pagasundon, mga lagda na kinahanglan sugdon niining pagbukas na usab sa turismo sa probinsya sa Sugbo makauyunan or nakauyunan sa tanan. Ako lang usbon under MGCQ kung diin ang probinsya sa Sugbo mao na karon ang classification gitugtan naman ang mga tourism related activities. Ug mao kana nga tungod og alang sa ato mga kaigsuunan nga nagtan-aw sa turismo nga ilang panginabuhi. Ato gayong gipaningkamutan nga atong matimbang-timbang the safety of our people. Una sa tanan ang atong mga kaigsuunan sa mga kalungsuran kung diin adunay turismo. But at the same time, ang pagbuhi sa pagbalik sa ekonomiya sa atong probinsya sa Sugbo. Okay. Kining maong executive order under section 1 atong gitagsa-tagsa ang mga tourism activities nga pagatubutan sa Pag-Abli sa pagbalik. Unsa man kani? Canyoneering, island hopping, snorkeling, diving, beach activities, whale shark watching and snorkeling, sightseeing, zipline adventure, ATV riding, parasailing, hiking, trekking and mountaineering, spelunking or kanang moadto ka sa mga caves, and visiting cultural heritage sites and museums. Unsay general guidelines? Booking. Discourage na ang walk-in tourists. Kinahanglan i-pre-book ang inyong pag-adto dito, pinaagi sa pag-adto sa online booking portal nga gi-create sa Cebu Provincial Government in coordination with the Department of Tourism, the Department of Trade and Industry, the Department of Health, the PNP. So kining maong portal jointly managed kini sa Cebu Provincial Government together with our relevant government agencies. Ang katong moabot mukalit lang to nga dito nga walay prior booking, matabangan apan kinahanglan mo balik gihapon sa portal. Ang tanan activities kinahanglan mo agi sa maong online booking portal. Now, ang pagbayad ni ini mahimo nga ipaagi through money transfer o mahimo usab nga ipaagi, money transfer ratak usa. Dili usa mga credit card payments kay daghan patag i-establish ni ana nga mga documentary requirements. But by money transfer, diha ma-register na ka as a tourist to avail of that particular package. Kani nga maong nga payment nimo sa maong mga particularly like ML Lulier, pagbayad nimo kanang maong bayad nimo mudiretso na sa local government unit kung diin anaa ang maong activity. Saybot na ko ipasabot. For example, whale shark watching. Gusto ka mo avail. Gusto ka mo adto sa Oslob alang sa pagtan-aw sa atong mga butanding. Moadto ka sa portal, adto ka didto, tan-aw nimo tagpila ang usa ka package, i-schedule sad ka. Makapili ka unsa nga time ka mo adto, unsang adlaw ka mo adto, aron pud ka masayod sa maong portal unsay kinahanglan nimong dad-on nga mga gears, unsay mahimo nimo nga rentahan, ug kinahanglan usab unsay imong andamon daan usa ka mo adto. So, mubayad ka didto sa maong kaning money transfer, sama pananglit sa Emerulier, mubayad ka dito. Pag humani mo bayad, mudiretso ang imong payment to the local government unit sa Oslob. Ang LGU na, maunyay bahala mo bahin-bahin ni ini kay doon naman ni sila certain division, no? Murag ilan ning a certain percentage mo ato sa mga boatmen, certain percentage mo ato sa barangay Tanawan, o a certain percentage mo ato sa lungsod sa Oslob. Local government na ang muapod-apod ni ini. Walay kitaon ni ini ang Cebu Provincial Government. Walay charges nga i-add on ni ini. Ang imo rang bayran, ang tanan ra gyud na kinahanglan nimong bayran alang sa maong tourism activity, plus of course kay imo man na money transfer, doon na kay gamayng bayran for the services sa money transfer. Adunay tourist brief detailing the rules and regulations to be followed as well as prescribed gear sama sa giingon ko nga i-forward ngadto sa guest upon confirmation of their bookings. Tourists must be able to provide complete personal and travel information. This is for our contact tracing. Tour packages must be fully paid. Kinahanglan bayran tanan before commencement of the tour. After booking has been completed and once the tour package has been fully paid, the guests shall be sent a radio frequency identification confirmation code or RFID confirmation code through their emails, Facebook messengers, Viber accounts, or other similar messaging platforms. So, humani magbayad, assign na naka og RFID confirmation code. Tungod kay ang tanan nato nga mga turista Upon arrival at the destination, will be issued an RFID bracelet that will be unique nimo nga turista ka. Ug mahimo usab ang maong RFID bracelet nimo, which can also serve as a e-wallet nga mahimo ni nimong maong RFID loadan nimo sa ingunta sa usa ka money transfer like Lulier, mag-load ka ba diha 5,000, that becomes your e-wallet nga kung doon na kay uban gusto paliton, kadto na imong gamiton, cashless tanan, contactless na, RFID bracelet na, carrying your e-wallet will be paying for others that you may want to purchase. Kaning RFID confirmation code shall be presented upon arrival at your destination for verification. So, inig-abot nimo, kung whale shark watching, inig-abot ninyo sa Oslo, dito sa Barangay Tanawan mismo, i-present na nimo ang imong confirmation code, RFID confirmation code. Once verified, as I said, each guest shall be given an RFID bracelet that must be worn at all times for the duration of their stay at the tourist activity destination. So, naa na kay RFID bracelet. This way, masabtan ang tanan nimo nga whereabouts ug ang imo usab contacts. Lakip na usab nga pag-carry sa imong cashless payment kung maloadan kini og e-wallet amount, which you can always get sa kaning Lulier or any other money transfer service. A tour package may include local transportation to and from the tourist destination, souvenir items, guides fee, meals during the tour, entrance fee, and any other applicable fees. Vehicles transporting guests to and from the destination must not be air-conditioned. If this is not possible, an air purification system with high efficiency particulate air filter or HEPA with HEPA filter and ionizer shall be installed in these vehicles. The capacity of the purification system should be proportional to the size of the vehicle. Established guidelines and protocols set by the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB on maintaining physical distancing while inside the vehicles must be followed. Reception areas sa ato ni nga mga establishments. All personnel assigned at the reception area should wear a personal air purifier such as this. This is readily available. Doon na suppliers ni ini and this is affordable. Health screening and other health protocols should be strictly observed. Temperature checks should be administered to all guests upon entry. Those exhibiting influenza-like symptoms shall be turned over to the city or municipal health officer for proper management and handling. Physical distancing markers should be placed. Foot baths must be placed at the entrance. Acrylic or glass barriers must be set up at the reception and front desks. Alcohol and alcohol-based hand sanitizers as well as tissue or paper towels must be made available. And, this is again important, an air purification system with HEPA filter and ionizer shall be installed at the reception area. The capacity of the air purification system must be proportional to the size of the reception area. The use of disposable water bottles is not allowed. Instead, guests shall be provided with a brand new refillable water tumbler, the cost of which shall be part of the tour package, which they will use for the entire duration of the activity and may keep as a souvenir. Refilling stations for water and or turmeric infused and honey sweetened calamansi juice shall be made readily available to guests. Washing areas must be visible from the entry point and within the premises of the reception area. Luggage and other personal belongings shall be disinfected with an ultraviolet germicidal light with strict observance of the instructions on proper handling and use of the device. This is again another innovation kung diin mo gamit na usab kitag siyansya and teknolohiya sama sa atong insistence na kinahanglan adunay air purification system with HEPA filter and ionizer sa reception area. Kini ang pag-sterilize sa mga luggages and other personal belongings by using the UV germicidal light. Ang reception area itself should be regularly cleaned, disinfected, and sterilized with an ultraviolet germicidal light after business hours. Welcoming of visitors. Freshly squeezed juice that boosts the immune system must be served to welcome guests at every site attraction or destination. These should include turmeric or salabati, lemongrass juice, calamansi juice, and other similar drinks made from products that can be found locally. Service crew should wear face masks, face shields, and again, personal air purifiers while serving food and drinks. There shall be a daily report made to the local tourism officer on the number of tourists managed by the establishment, and the local tourism officer shall submit a collated monthly report to the Cebu Provincial Tourism Office. On briefing and orientation, rules and regulations must be forwarded to guests upon confirmation of their booking. So dito pa lang sa atong online portal, once confirmed na ang imong booking, i-forward na mismo ninyo or makita na ninyo ang rules and regulations that will govern that particular tourism activity. Said rules and regulations must again be presented to the guests before the start of the tour. Personnel briefing the guests shall wear face masks, face shields, and personal air purifiers at all times. Physical distancing shall be strictly observed at all times. Only 50% of the maximum seating capacity of the briefing area shall be occupied. Floor markers shall be installed to guide guests in observing physical distancing. Management of safety gear and equipment. There shall be a regular disinfection and sterilization of safety gears, facilities, equipment, and surroundings. Gear and equipment that are rented out should, at the end of each use, be properly sterilized with an ultraviolet germicidal light with strict observance of the instructions on proper handling. Properly sterilized equipment must be stored in sterilized and sealed containers which shall be labeled or tagged for easy identification. A room within the establishment shall be designated solely for gear and equipment sterilization. Destination workforce. The health of all personnel should be regularly checked prior to their work shift through temperature checking and other applicable health checks. Those influencing influenza-like symptoms shall be referred to the city or municipal health officer for proper handling. Client-facing personnel such as receptionists, waiters, busboys, and briefers are required to wear face masks, face shields, and personal air purifiers. Only LGU accredited operators and community guides shall be allowed to operate. Personal air purifier. All guests are required to wear personal air purifiers during the duration of the activity. Guests without personal air purifiers may rent disinfected and sterilized personal air purifiers at the place of the destination activity. So, this is something that we have decided to impose, no? Niining atong pagbukas karon nga ang kadto usab nga mga turista nga buot mo avail of that activity kinahanglan Pag-abot, magdala na sa ilang kaugalingon nga personal air purifier. Kung wala man sila, there will be made available. Alang sa pag-abang, previously sterilized and disinfected personal air purifiers nga ilang gamiton for the whole duration samtang in contact sila sa uban nga atoa didto sa maong tourist activity. Souvenir items in order to promote Cebu as a health and wellness destination kay mao na kini ang branding nato karon for the province of Cebu as a health and wellness destination. Souvenir shops and establishments are strongly encouraged to sell items that, as far as practicable, support the health regimen and safety measures prescribed under Section 7 of Executive Order Number 20, Series of 2020. Unsa man ni health regimen? We are promoting the drinking of calamansi together with turmeric and sweetened by honey. We are promoting kaning mga unsa ni 8 hours of sleep, of course, and the unsa pa tong uban na to, ang mga vitamins. Now I was just thinking morning, like for example dito sa Alegria, tungod kay atong gi-promote ang turmeric, they actually have cookies nga gi-mix nila ang turmeric ug ang kabunggay. They have drinks that they are selling that are calamansi with turmeric and even with passion fruit. So these are things that we are encouraging nga atong mga souvenir shops, aside from of course those items that promote the place, let us promote the health regimen that we are also pushing forward in order to boost the immune system. Kay gibalik-balik ko na ni, our best defense is a strong and healthy immune system, and we can achieve this with these products nga that are readily available sa atong mga kalungsuran. Ang sama pananglit sa atong mga turmeric or duwaw, salabat, calamansi, kinitanan. I am challenging our towns to be creative and innovative to come up with these products that really promote Cebu as a health and wellness destination. Okay. Doon na natay specific guidelines for the activities. When we speak of canyoneering, we have canyoneering sa Badyan ug sa Alegria. Ang operation shall only be from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Maximum height of 30 feet. Groups will be composed of a maximum of 5 persons to be accompanied by 2 trained guides. Only persons traveling together shall be allowed in a group. Guides must strictly observe good personal hygiene and wear proper uniform. When guiding, they must be equipped with a two-way communication device and safety and emergency equipment, such as but not limited to helmet, life vest, and other similar gear in accordance to appropriate equipment standards. Strict physical distancing shall be observed with a 7-minute interval between each group. There shall be a maximum limit of 300 persons per day in the area for canyoneering activities. This is the reason why do not tie online portal. Because kung ang tanan mo adto sa online portal, we will have control of the number of persons that will avail of a particular tourism activity. This time around, we are not going for quantity. Dili ni padaghanay. We are going for quality. Kay hinay-hinay tang moabli. Dili nga kalit lang buksan ni nato nga magkagubota. No. We have to be able to manage this very, very carefully. As I said, it is always a balance. Safety of our people, but at the same time, the livelihoods of so many. So balansihon tani. Mona, for the time being, do not tayo limit of 300 persons per day. Usa. 300 sa Badyan, 300 sa Alegria. Selling of food and drinks is strictly prohibited. Visitors must wear proper gear, such as helmet, life vest, canyoneering shoes, and other protective equipment that may be required at all times during any water activity. A list of the prescribed gear must form part of the brief sent to guests prior to the activity. Gear and equipment that are rented out should, at the end of each use, be properly sterilized. Again, with an ultraviolet germicidal light, with strict observance of the instructions on proper handling. Canyoneering operators shall set aside 1 day of every week for cleanup and maintenance. The Cebu Provincial Tourism Task Force shall be notified of the appointed day for supervision and monitoring. For island hopping, dolphin watching, and other related activities, only boats or bangkas, motorized or not, of boat operators duly accredited with the Department of Tourism and the Maritime Industry Authority and registered with the LGU shall be allowed to operate. So remember, ang atong mga operators sa mga pump boats, bangka o guban pa, palihog pa-register mo with the DOT and the Marina. Regular monitoring shall be conducted by the Philippine Coast Guard and the PNP Tourist Police. At this juncture, I would like to announce, last week dito mi sa Moalboal. Kibawta nga primarily ang activity gyud dito is diving. Tungod sa kanindot kay sa atong mga corals dito ug labaw na ang sardine run. Now diving entails the use of bangkas or pump boats. There are 61 operators dito. Mga tag-iya o mga pump boats nga 5 ka buwan na ron wa gyud kita bisag usa ka dako. Mo na karon ni hangyo sila. Kay ang uban kinahanglan na i-renew nila ang ilang mga lisensya. Yesterday nakig-meeting ko with the Marina, si RD Pasqua, puyog usab nato ang atong Regional Director for DOT, RD Tamano, ug ang sa DTI, si RD Caberte. Ug nihangyo ta nga kung mahimo tagaan usag lugway sa Marina ang pagpa-renew sa ilang mga bayranan, pagbayad nila alang sa pag-renew sa ilang mga lisensya. Ug magpasalamat ta kang RD Pasqua nga iyang gi-extend ang renewal hangtod November 15. That's 3.5 months sugod sa August. By this time, we hope nga kung mahinay-hinay na nato pabalik ang inyong mga panginabuhi, kamo nga mga tag-iya sa mga pump boats, aduna na kamoy mapundo-pundo aron sa pagbayad sa inyong mga balayranan, kabahin sa pag-renew sa inyong lisensya. So, magpagawas og advisory ang Marina. Kini exclusive kini sa atong mga pump boat operators nga gigamit nato for tourism activities. Sama pananglit sa diving, snorkeling, og island hopping. So, alang kaninyo. Nakita nako ang kalisod nga inyong giagian. Magpasalamat ta sa Ginoo nga matagaan mo og lugway. Okay, so of course, ang maximum capacity ang tugutan ra nato sa matag pump boat 50% lamang. And then only persons traveling in the same group shall be allowed to board the boat or bangka. Na ay mga alcohol and alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Ang full passenger capacity as well as the 50% passenger capacity of the vessel must be displayed at all times for transparency and for easy reference. Passengers must wear complete safety gear such as life vest, appropriate footwear, and other protective equipment that are in good condition at all times during the water activity. Guides must ensure that safety gears are worn correctly. Gear and equipment, again, that are rented out should, at the end of each use, be properly sterilized with an ultraviolet germicidal light with strict observance of the instructions on proper handling. Frequently touched surfaces of the vessel shall be regularly disinfected upon disembarkation and prior to embarkation. For snorkeling, persons who intend to engage in snorkeling activities are required to purchase or bring their own mask and snorkel. Dili ni pwedeng maghulam-hulam or mag-abang mo. Kinanglan, you have to bring your own mask and snorkel. Masks and snorkels are not allowed to be rented out by the establishment but may be sold by the establishment. So for this reason, kung gusto mo tingali mo kalit mo adto mo sa kalugar, unya gusto mo snorkeling adto sa mo portal, patabang mo sa local government unit adto mo sa portal. Unya pagkahuman mo bayad mo. Kung mo kuha na mo daan og e-wallet, makabayad na mo diretso with your RFID bracelet. Kapalit na mo diha. Gusto mo palit og mask or snorkel. Tourists shall bring their own towels and refillable water tumblers. Towels and water tumblers shall not be rented out, but may be sold by the establishment. Spitting on snorkeling masks for defogging is strictly prohibited. For this reason, spray bottles with diluted baby shampoo shall be provided. Customers shall not be allowed access to areas where equipment is stored. Gear and equipment, again, that are rented out, sama pananglit sa fins, life jackets, and the like, shall be regularly sterilized with a UV germicidal light. Properly sterilized equipment must be stored in sterilized and sealed containers, which shall be labeled and tagged for easy identification. Again, frequently touched surfaces of the vessel shall be regularly disinfected. Diving. All dive operators are required to be accredited with the DOT and the Philippine Commission for Sports Scuba Diving. All diving protocols implemented by the operator shall be in conformity with international diving standards. Divers are strongly encouraged to purchase or bring their own masks, buoyancy control devices, mouthpieces, snorkeling tubes, and other related gears to avoid sharing of equipment. Masks, mouthpieces, and snorkeling tubes should neither be rented out nor shared, but may be sold by the establishment. Tourists shall bring their own towels and refillable water tumblers. These shall not be rented out, but may be sold again by the establishment. Ang sakyan nga bangka or pump boat, ang allowed lamang 50% of the carrying capacity. And ang pwede ra makakuyog sa usa ka pump boat kadto rang nagkuyog na daan. Only persons traveling in the same group shall be allowed to board the boat or bangka. I-display gihapon sa pump boat ang 50% passenger capacity aron apil na kung wilasad ang full capacity aron dali ra nga makitaan. Spitting on masks na pod dili na pwede. Magpa-provide na og mga spray bottles nga na ay diluted nga baby shampoo mao na to'y spray. Customers shall not be allowed to areas where equipment is stored. Unya mao gihapon ang frequently touched surfaces shall be regularly disinfected. Ang tanan nga mga gears, equipment nga gamiton nga ipaabang again mogamit na sadta og ultraviolet germicidal light alang sa pag-sterilize niini pagkahuman gyud og gamit. Nya ayohon ni pag-store properly labeled. Beach activities. Only 50% of the maximum carrying capacity of the beachfront area shall be occupied. Wala usay pagkaon o mainom sa beaches. You're there only to swim. Physical distancing must be followed at the premises and during swimming. There shall be a regular sterilization of all rented beach gear such as life vests, masks, BCDs, and other swimming equipment using the UV light. For whale shark interaction, and this could possibly be ang pinakauna nato nga activity nga ablihan dito sa lungsod sa Oslob. Butanding. Ang butanding watching shall only be from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon. A maximum daily limit of 1,000 guests shall be imposed. Only 50% of the boat or bangka's maximum passenger capacity shall be allowed. Only persons traveling in the same group shall be allowed to board the boat. Boatmen must strictly observe good personal hygiene and wear proper uniform. Full passenger capacity as well as 50% passenger capacity of the vessel must be displayed. Life vests and other swimming equipment rented and used during the activity shall be regularly sterilized with, again, the ultraviolet germicidal light. O ang frequently touched surfaces shall be regularly disinfected. Sightseeing. Subject to the minimum health standards established under EO 20, series of 2020, and by the Department of Health, sightseeing of tourist sites and other attractions shall be allowed within the province of Cebu. Guests must be divided into groups before proceeding to the activity areas. Groups will be composed of a maximum of 5 persons to be accompanied by 1 trade guide when applicable. Only persons traveling together shall be allowed in a group. 50% ra sa maximum carrying capacity of the sightseeing area shall be used. Guides must have a two-way communication device. And for waterfall sightseeing, the area shall be closed 1 day for every week, which shall be set aside for the maintenance and upkeep of the vicinity. The Cebu Provincial Tourism Task Force shall be notified of the appointed day for supervision and monitoring. All other equipment that may be used especially during waterfall sightseeing activities, shall again be sterilized with a UV germicidal light. Selling of food and drinks strictly prohibited. Swimming in the waterfalls is still prohibited. And for zip lines, for the zip line adventure, 1 guest per cable line shall be allowed. Personnel of the establishment must wear face masks, face shields, and personal air purifiers at all times. Safety gear worn by guests during the activity shall again be sterilized with the UV germicidal light. And there shall be regular disinfection of the zipline platform and zipline gear. ATV riding. 1 guest per ATV bike shall be allowed per trip. Personnel of the establishment must wear face masks, face shields, and personal air purifiers. Visitors must wear complete safety equipment such as helmet, life vests, shoes, and other protective equipment. A list of the prescribed gear must form part of the tourist brief sent to guests prior to the activity. Once again, ang gear and equipment that are to be rented out must be regularly sterilized with the UV germicidal light, and the ATV shall be regularly disinfected after each use. Parasailing. Only boat operators duly accredited with the DOT and the Marina and registered with the LGU shall be allowed to operate. Regular monitoring shall be conducted by the Philippine Coast Guard and Tourist Police. 50% of the boat's maximum passenger carrying capacity is permitted. Only persons traveling in the same group shall board the same boat. Alcohol and alcohol-based sanitizers must be present on board. full passenger carrying capacity as well as the 50% passenger capacity shall be displayed at the vessel. One guest per parasailing activity, only one guest per parasailing activity shall be allowed. Passengers must wear safety gear. Now, all these gears that are rented out will again be properly sterilized with the UV light, as well as frequently touched surfaces of the vessel or the boat or the bangka shall be regularly disinfected. Hiking, trekking, and mountaineering. Operation shall be from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. Operation beyond the prescribed hours is only allowed upon approval of the Tourism Task Force. Guests are divided into groups, will be composed of 5 persons to be accompanied by 1 trained guide, if applicable. The guide must wear a face mask and a personal air purifier. Guides must strictly observe good personal hygiene. Only persons traveling together shall be allowed in a group. Strict physical distancing shall be observed with a 7-minute interval. Visitors must wear complete safety protective equipment. And the list of the prescribed gear shall form part of the tourist brief sent to guests prior to the activity. Touching and picking of flora and fauna in the trail is prohibited. To avoid disturbance of the ecosystem, only established trails are to be used. Gear and equipment that shall be rented out will again be sterilized. And 1 day of every week shall be set aside for cleanup and maintenance. Spelunking. Operation shall be from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Again, divided into groups of 5 to be accompanied by 2 trained guides, and only persons traveling together shall be allowed. With a proper two-way communication system for our guides, and they shall be wearing face masks and personal air purifiers. Physical distancing shall be observed with a 7-minute interval between each group. Touching of stalagmites and stalactites is not allowed. Visitors must wear complete safety equipment. And if there are gears and equipment to be rented out, this must again be properly sterilized with a UV light. Visiting cultural heritage sites and museums. Personnel of these cultural heritage sites and museums shall wear face mask, face shield, and personal air purifiers at all times. Wearing of face masks. Health screening and other health protocols should be strictly observed. Temperature check shall be administered. Physical distancing, foot baths, acrylic or glass barriers may be set up. Hand sanitizers, alcohol-based hand sanitizers shall be made available. And, of course, frequently exposed areas shall be sterilized with the UV germicidal light. For the operation of dine-in services, in addition to the guidelines prescribed by DOT Memorandum Circular numbers 2020-002, 2020-004, and DTI Memorandum Circular 20-37 as amended by 20-39, following measures shall be observed. Para ni sa dine-in ha, open air and well-ventilated dining is highly encouraged. However, for indoor air-conditioned dining, proprietors are required to install an air purification system with HEPA filter and ionizer. The capacity of the air purification system must be proportional to the area of the restaurant. Under DTI Guidelines 20-39, na expanded na from 50% capacity sa dine-in nga area nga gi-allow, karon dine-in shall now be limited to 75% of the establishment's full carrying capacity. Buffet service shall be allowed only when food servers are present in the buffet area and all food trays are covered with food covers. fruit and vegetable dishes, as well as freshly squeezed juices, such as but not limited to turmeric-infused honey-sweetened calamansi juice are highly encouraged. The kitchen and other food preparation areas, as well as kitchen utensils and equipment, shall be regularly sterilized with ultraviolet germicidal light. Regular sanitation of the restroom with UV germicidal light shall be observed. For accommodation establishments, we are referring now to our resorts and hotels. Now, we are calling on all mayors to remind all resorts that all accommodation establishments must secure a certificate of authority to operate, or a CAO, from the Department of Tourism, and further, a special business permit from the local government unit having jurisdiction over the establishment. You will only issue such special permit once this establishment has complied with all of our required protocols, including the equipment that needs to be installed, like for example, ang air purification system with HEPA filter and ionizer, and whether or not the establishment already has a UV germicidal light nga gamiton alang sa pag-sterilize ni adtong angay i-sterilize. The CAO, if you recall, I already issued a memorandum for this nga all establishments must secure a certificate of authority to operate, or a CAO, from the DOT. I already issued a memorandum for this, and therefore gikinahanglan nga ang establishment matagaan dayud usa og CAO or CAO before the issuance of that special permit to operate. The operation of accommodation establishments shall strictly observe guidelines under DOT MC 2020-002-004 and DTI MC 2037 and 2039. Accommodation establishments shall thoroughly disinfect rooms and common areas using electrostatic sprayers with hospital-grade disinfectants at least once every 2 weeks. For air-conditioned rooms, the installation of air purification systems with HEPA filters and ionizers is strongly encouraged. The capacity of the air purification system must be proportional to the area of the room. The suites and the common areas shall be regularly sterilized after every room cleaning using an ultraviolet germicidal light. No guest shall be allowed inside a room while routine daily cleaning is being done. Only bed linen and towels that have been properly sterilized with UV germicidal light shall be provided to the guests. Curfew. I am also serving notice that in conformity with DTI Memorandum Circular 20-39, we are now moving curfew from 10 o'clock p.m. to 12 o'clock midnight. So, curfew within the province of Cebu shall be from 12 midnight to 5 o'clock a.m. of the following day. Restaurants shall be allowed to open until 11 o'clock p.m. To this end, Section 2.9 of Section 2 of Executive Order Number 20 is hereby amended. Section 7, Health Regimen and Safety Measures. All persons within the province of Cebu are encouraged to boost their immune system to effectively combat the COVID-19 by following the Health Regimen and Safety Measures under Section 7 of Executive Order Number 20, Series of 2020. All persons are also strongly encouraged to observe a balanced diet rich in vegetables and fruits. Those establishments involved in the activities mentioned in Section 3 hereof shall, as far as practicable, integrate the aforementioned health regimen and safety measures. For monitoring, members of the tourist police of the PNP The Philippine Coast Guard and the Bantay Dagat shall be designated as the security and safety officers charged with overseeing all tourist-related activities and the enforcement of the prescribed safety and health protocols. In order to ensure that protocols are followed, the Cebu Provincial Tourism Task Force shall be created by the provincial government. Effectivity. This executive order shall take effect immediately upon its issuance. However, the opening of specific activities shall be subject to the readiness of the establishment and the local government unit having jurisdiction over the same, as determined by the Cebu Provincial Tourism Task Force. A certificate certifying the readiness of the establishment to open and launch the tourism activity shall be issued by the Cebu Provincial Tourism Task Force. So ordered, done in the provincial capital, the city of Cebu, Philippines, on July 23rd, 2020. Signed, Gwendolyn Garcia, Governor. So, this is Executive Order 20-A. I have also issued Executive Order 20-B, creating a Cebu Provincial Tourism Task Force within the province of Cebu, composed of the following: Chairperson, Gwendolyn F. Garcia, Governor. Vice Chairpersons, the Regional Director of the Department of Tourism, Region 7, and the Regional Director of the Department of Trade and Industry of Region 7. Members, the Regional Director of the Department of Health, the Regional Director of Marina, the Commander of the Philippine Coast Guard, Central Visayas, the Regional Director of the DNR, and the Cebu Provincial Director of the Philippine National Police. The members of this task force may appoint and authorize a representative. Duties and responsibilities are to monitor and ensure compliance by accredited establishments with the protocols and guidelines mandated under Executive Order Number 20-A, Series of 2020. Monitor and manage the centralized online booking portal for tourism packages. Monitor and ensure strict compliance with the minimum health standards prescribed by the Department of Health. Monitor and evaluate services being rendered by the workforce of accredited establishments, and determine the readiness of the establishment and the local government unit having jurisdiction over the same for the opening of the tourism activity. The task force shall issue this certification certifying the readiness of such establishment and the LGU. Now, more functions is to ensure that tourism-related activities are carried out in a peaceful and safe manner, and to provide technical assistance to micro, small, and medium enterprises specifically for establishments in the tourism industry. Perform such other functions necessary for the implementation of Executive Order 20-A, effective immediately upon issuance. So ordered, Provincial Capital, Cebu City, Philippines, July 23, 2020. Signed, Governor Gwendolyn F. Garcia. So these are the two executive orders that have outlined the specific protocols per tourism activity. Ang hinaot ko, nga kamo nga naminaw, labi na kamo nga wala mahaapil, nga kansang mga panginabuhi nagadepende sa turismo, o sa inyong huna-huna, angay magsira na lang ta hangtod sa hangtod. Ang hinaot ko, kung naminaw mo maayo, nga makuti kaayo, o gihimo kini sa labaw nga paghatag o gibug-aton sa health, safety, and security sa katawhan nga ma-involved. Sayod ko,